The fifth Noahide law is the prohibition of theft. At first glance, this may seem simple and obvious. One must not steal. But within Jewish tradition, this commandment is far deeper and more comprehensive than merely forbidding the taking of another person's property. In the Tanakh, the prohibition against theft appears in several forms. In the Ten Commandments, it is stated briefly and clearly, "You shall not steal." Rabbinic interpretation makes it clear that this commandment is not limited to economic crime, but concerns respect for human dignity, freedom, and personal boundaries. Rabbinic tradition distinguishes between many forms of theft. There is physical theft, taking something that belongs to another, but there are also more subtle forms: fraud, dishonest business practices, deception in trade, false weights and measures, withholding wages, or exploiting another person's ignorance. All of these are considered violations of the prohibition against theft. The Talmud also introduces the concept of genivat dat, stealing a person's mind. This refers to misleading others, creating false impressions, manipulating trust, or presenting oneself as more righteous, generous, or trustworthy than one truly is. Such deception is also considered a form of theft. For Noahides, non-Jews who seek to live according to the 7 universal laws, this means that the prohibition against theft applies not only to criminal acts, but to one's entire ethical posture toward others. Honesty is not merely a legal requirement, it is a moral obligation. Rabbinic sources further emphasize that ownership does not apply only to material objects, but also to time, labor, and dignity. Exploiting another person's work without fair compensation or taking credit for what others have done falls within the same ethical framework. In a modern context, this commandment can also be applied to systemic injustice. Corruption, abuse of power, and unjust economic structures may be understood as collective forms of theft, where the vulnerable bear the cost of others' greed. The prohibition of theft is therefore not only about protecting property, but about safeguarding trust. No society can function without a basic level of trust between people. When theft becomes normalized, whether on a small or large scale, that foundation erodes. In Jewish thought, this commandment is closely linked to justice and peace. Where people respect one another's boundaries, community can flourish. Where boundaries are violated, fear, conflict, and division follow. The fifth Noahide law reminds us that a just society is built not only through laws and punishment, but through inner moral discipline and personal responsibility. Thank you for listening. Please feel free to share this reflection if you find it meaningful. We welcome comments, additions, and corrections, especially from those knowledgeable in Jewish tradition. Peace and blessings to you.